eye, but there's a thing on it we're not sure about signature. So I'm going to have to ring them.
Okay, so hello everyone, my name's Charlotte, I'm from Healthwatch Berry, and today we're going to be doing our Facebook Live around World Pharmacist Day and the role of community pharmacists. So we have the lovely Ali here, who'll be able to give us some more information. But before we do, let me just, okay, I think we've gone too far. So we've got a couple of guidelines that we like to follow through our lives. So we want to be accepting. Everyone is welcome, regardless of race, ethnicity, national origin, affiliation, sexual orientation, sex, gender identity, or ability. We want to respect each other's boundaries. So we don't want to make advances or comments on appearance that might make somebody feel uncomfortable. And we don't want to be rude. So we don't want to intentionally provoke, threaten, or insult anybody. We also don't want to flood the chat, so we want to keep the conversation going, but if we send the same comment over and over again, things can get lost. And we're not here to self-promote, so it's not a sales pitch. We want to stay focused on the topic of the stream, which today is World Pharmacy Day. And we would like to keep it clean. So if it's shocking, obscene, vulgar, or inflammatory, leave it out, please. So today we're doing the brief introduction with myself. Ali's going to come and talk to us about the role of community pharmacists, and then our co-host Steph is going to do the question and answers afterwards. So who are Healthwatch Berry? So Healthwatch Berry is your local health and social care champion to make sure NHS leaders and other decision makers hear your voice and use feedback to improve care. Listen to your experiences of using health and social care services to share them with those with the power to make change happen. And we can also provide you with information and advice. So ways that we can support you is we can help signpost you to local or online support groups. We can give you information and advice about your family members or your loved ones or healthcare. And we listen to your experiences of using health and social care services and bear it with the motive to feed that back and try and make change happen. If you would like to get in touch with us, here are all our contact details. We have our phone. We're also available on WhatsApp, email, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and that's our website at the bottom. So on that note, I will stop talking and stop sharing and pass over to Ali for the rest of the presentation.
Hello. Hi, can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
And see me as well, hopefully?
I can hear you, I can't see you. The screen's gone a little bit black at the moment.
Okay,
oh, there you are. Thank you.
Is that better now? Yeah, hi there. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dalal. I'm a community pharmacist from Prestwich in Manchester, and I'm here to talk about community pharmacy and all the lovely things we do. There is a big sort of change with community pharmacy at the moment. There's lots more new stuff that we're doing that the public are aware about. Hence, today we want to try and just raise awareness about all the things that we can do. And there is more stuff coming to pharmacy as well. So start off with, our main sort of role has always been around medication. You know, we are your experts in your medication questions. We prepare your medication for you, for all our patients, you know, be it in normal boxes or blister packs or trays. We provide medication to care homes. So everything has been, well, majority of the things has been centered around medication, but the role is changing, it's expanding into other things. So for example, we are now able to do vaccinations, we do blood pressure checks, we do other services to do with, you know, private prescriptions that we can do if pharmacists are prescribers, or to do with other services available in the area, such as minor ailments, or be it supervised consumption, help with, you know, quit smoking. So a lot more expanding into clinical areas that we've never known pharmacists to do, but it's like a changing role. And there is lots more coming with the way the NHS is evolving, and pharmacists are playing a key role in the healthcare sector. So yeah, you'll probably see a lot more campaigns on TV and around to tell the public about all the lovely things we do.
Oh, that's lovely. Great. We do have some questions around that I think Steph have. I just had to mute you quickly, Steph, because there was a bit of background noise. So you need to unmute, my lovely.
Hi, Ali. Hi.
Hi, Steph. Sorry,
Can we
I
turn
think
your
you might
camera
have
around,
to-
Steph? We can't see you at the moment, my love.
That video. Yeah, I have.
It's all right, lovely. If we're having some technical problems, just ask the questions. We'll treat it more like a phone call.
Okay then. So hi, Ali. Just bear with me a minute, or a second, and I'll get the questions up.
Yeah, no problem.
So what the first question is, what advice can a pharmacist help with instead of a doctor?
Okay, so that's a really good question, and it's funny because there isn't sort of a kind of fine line between pharmacists and doctors in terms of advice as such. We cover lots of minor ailments, kind of initially can be minor injuries or minor ailments, as we call them. So the less serious stuff we can provide advice on, but that doesn't mean that we can't give you advice on other things as well, because we are well educated in pharmacy and the medication side of things. We can really spot certain red flags, certain serious things. So for example, if you've come to a pharmacist and asked them, you were not sure whether should I go to the doctor or to the pharmacy, I'd say try your pharmacist first, because they'll be able to quite quickly tell you whether it's something we can sort out in the pharmacy, or you need to see the doctor. We'll be able to give you that assuring advice. And also, like I said, the role is expanding, it's changing. So there is a new set of pharmacists coming into the healthcare place, whereby there'll be prescribers. So they'll be almost like doctors, because doctors diagnose and prescribe medication. Obviously, we are mainly traditionally seen as the people who dispense the medication, but now we are taking on the role of the doctors, or part of their role, whereby we can also prescribe certain medications. And the whole idea is to work closely together with the doctors and take off the burden of the NHS, and mainly the GP sector, because as you know, since post-COVID and the post-pandemic, the doctors have had a lot of pressure from the public. There's been high waiting times on appointments, so pharmacists are sort of getting to step in and take some of that load off. So to answer your question, just to kind of summarize that, we cover a lot of conditions, a lot of injuries, a lot of minor ailments, minor sickness things. So if you're not sure, I'd say come to your pharmacist first, and would be able to give you the advice. And also, there are certain services out there whereby if you go to a surgery, they'll direct you to a pharmacy anyway through something called GPC-PCS, which is a GP-led pharmacy consultation. So that is out there as well across all the surgeries. So at the moment there is a bit of a kind of say hybrid model, whereby we're doing a lot more than we used to do, and there'll be more coming. So we'll cover quite a lot of stuff for you.
So thank you. And so you talked about you're able to prescribe some medication for patients. What sort of medication is a pharmacist able to prescribe?
Yeah, so as you know, there are things you can buy over the counter, which through a pharmacy only. So that's your kind of prescription medication. Now that role is expanding, so we can prescribe depending on the prescriber's competencies. It can be anything from blood pressure tablets, antibiotics, diabetic medication. It can be anything depending on the competency of the pharmacist. But also there are certain services called which are called the PGD-led services, patient group directive services, whereby we can technically prescribe something under a supervision of a doctor, and that can also cover a range of conditions, and that's sometimes based on the area. If there's services set up in the area. So for example, something like the morning after pill or emergency contraception, which is a prescription medication but can be prescribed by a pharmacist under a directive, or certain medications for urine infections, for example, or inhalers. So there are lots of stuff that we can do, and again, because the role is evolving, there'll be lots more we can do. So there is, I don't know if you've heard in the news, there are 7 conditions which the pharmacy will be able to prescribe for, which I'll just tell you now. Won't be a second. So it's not live yet. They are working on the mechanisms of how we'll be able to deliver the conditions, the medications for these conditions. But the conditions are sinusitis, sore throat, earache, infected insect bites, impetigo, shingles, and uncomplicated urine infections in women. So all these conditions we'll be able to soon prescribe for under the new NHS directive.
And thank you. And obviously there are certain individuals in society that qualify for the use of free prescriptions, because we know in England you have to pay per item for prescriptions. Who can qualify as somebody who is entitled to free prescriptions?
Yeah, so there is, if you look at a prescription, on the back of the prescription, it'll tell you all the conditions or the criteria you can qualify for a free prescription. So there are things like, for example, people on income support, job seekers allowance, people with certain medical conditions such as diabetes, thyroid problems, people under the age of 16, people on certain tax credit exemptions. So if there are all these conditions that all these criteria that people qualify for a free prescription, and if you want to check, you can go into a pharmacy. They can give you the relevant paperwork for you to be able to determine whether you can qualify for a free prescription or not.
And what services can an individual access through their pharmacy, and how can they access that information?
Okay, so every pharmacy, provides a range of services. So, for example, say blood pressure checking, vaccinations, earwax removal, various services. So every pharmacy has a profile on NHS Choice's website. So if you go on the NHS Choice's website, you type in the pharmacy, all the services will be listed. And then you will be able to then contact the pharmacy either by phone or on their website, and then determine what's their way of inviting patients into how to access those services. Certain pharmacies run online booking systems, some may just do it over the phone. So it depends from pharmacy to pharmacy. The best place to check is the NHS Choices website, or give the pharmacy a ring, and they'll be able to tell you more about the range of services they provide and how you can access those services.
There's a range of contraception options out there. Is an individual person able to access contraception via their pharmacy?
Yes, certainly they are. There are, pharmacies participating in contraception services. So, your emergency hormonal contraception, for example. There are services coming as well, which are in discussions at the moment. There is some arrangements happening whereby pharmacy will be able to initiate contraceptive services as well. So that they're in sort of talks for them to happen as well. But yeah, there are pharmacies out there doing various services. And another important role of pharmacies is that they can very well signpost you to a relevant service. So if, for example, if pharmacy can't do a service, they will be able to accurately give you enough information for you to be able to go elsewhere. We can obtain that service. So it's called signposting, which we have is an essential sort of role of pharmacists to be able to signpost patients to the relevant departments within the healthcare system. So for example, if you are unsure, go to a pharmacy, ask them the questions, they'll be able to know about the services that are in the area, and where you can access those services if, for example, the pharmacy isn't providing those services.
Thank you. And my final question is, as you'll be well aware, we're coming into autumn, winter now, flu season, and the flu vaccinations are becoming available. Obviously, people can pay for that, or if they're eligible, they can get it for free. But what if somebody is housebound and they're like eligible for a flu jab? How can they access the vaccination?
Yeah, so really good question again. As you know, pharmacists are now participating. Well, they have done since COVID with the vaccination program. So we do lots of COVID vaccinations and flu jabs as well. Regarding housebound, I'd say not all pharmacies do the home visits. It's normally done either by the GP or another provider within the area. However, again, pharmacists would be a good place to start. You can give them a call and ask them. There will be pharmacies out there who are doing home visits, so they'll be able to arrange that for you, or you'll be able to get the information from your GP and see whether they are also providing, housebound visits. But both sectors, GPs and pharmacists, are doing them, and you can contact either and they'll be able to give you more information. Again, it's dependent on the area, your pharmacy and your GP, whether that service is available. But if they are not providing them, they'll be able to direct you to a place where you can obtain those services.
Thank you, Ali, for sharing that information with us today.
Thank you, Steph, for your questions.
Right, Ali, well, I think that's all that we've got for you today. Thank you very much for coming on, though. I feel like there was a lot of information in a very short space of time there.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Just happy to obviously, represent community pharmacy, and just want to, I think, just reiterate that there is a lot happening, a lot of good change coming within pharmacy. We are under a lot of pressure as well at the same time, so we are sort of constantly fighting and trying our level best. As you know, they've probably heard in the news, there is with Lloyd's Pharmacies, for example, they all kind of closed down or got sold. Lloyd's Pharmacy doesn't sort of exist anymore because of the pressures. There's other large corporates who are looking to either sell or downsize the groups, not just multiples, other general pharmacies as well. So there is, I think, in every sector, pharmacy sector has been affected massively as well, but it's an evolving sector. We are working really hard to try and play a part, and there is our bodies are trying their level best to negotiate with the government to increase our funding, so we can have these essential resources to be able to do more, because there is a great place for pharmacy within the NHS, and we've realized during the COVID, we were the only kind of healthcare setting open to the public. Everything else was closed. Pharmacy was the only one. So since COVID, we've played a key part, and we continue to do so. We continue to evolve, and we just wanting everybody to back the community pharmacies and stand together to help with this funding crisis, so we can get the required funding, get the resources, so we can do more for our communities.
Absolutely, and I think it's getting people to know that the pharmacy should be the first point of call, obviously, unless it's
correct.
Because I know I personally have to wait 2 to 3 weeks for a face-to-face doctor's appointment, and by the sounds of it, a lot of it I could go into a pharmacy and get it sorted.
Exactly that. Yeah, there's so much. That's the thing. A lot of patients are not aware about what pharmacies can do. So there is obviously that is happening in the background, is evolving, but yeah, there is, I mean, I'm obviously not saying that everybody just come into farm straight away, because they've got their work pressures as well, but we, by default, people are not aware of the stuff we can do, and there is lots more we can do. So just find out and you'll be able to, you know, get a lot more help from pharmacies. Now there are various streams where you can, you know, be directed to a pharmacy, be signposted to a pharmacy, and be able to access the service, because the whole idea is to take off some of the workload from the GPs and, you know, into pharmacies, so we can really contribute to the crisis that the NHS is facing at the moment.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
I
you
love
so
the
much.
fact that we
Thank
spread
you for
that
having
message
me.
for you.
Perfect. Thank you for having me, and we'll hopefully see you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you.
you
Take
soon.
care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Steph. Bye.
Bye.